Islam Makhachev has retained his welterweight championship over Ian Gary, and honestly, it was a close fight. It was a fight that has have some controversy to it, a little bit, but not in the way that makes you say this is some kind of robbery, not in a way that makes you think, oh my goodness, Islam Makhachev.
The Islam Makhachev versus Ian Gary championship fight just ended, and everything you heard, completely wrong. This wasn't just a win for Islam. It was a brutal reality check for the UFC, exposing the biggest flaw in modern MMA judging. It raises serious questions about grappling-heavy main events. Not a robbery, but a disaster for fan engagement.
So stalemating and strategizing and chess moves, which is always a bit of an issue when you're talking about a championship fight, a main event where people want to go home.
When a main event leaves fans feeling ripped off, that's catastrophic for the sport. Strategy completely overshadowed spectacle here. It cripples pay-per-view buys and decimates engagement. Did this win cement Islam closer to GOAT status? Maybe. But at what cost to the entertainment value that fuels the UFC machine?
Confidence was based around his ability to stop Islam from doing what he wanted to do, which was...
Ian Gary knew the blueprint. His entire game plan hinged on stopping Islam's suffocating grappling. A massive tell. He understood what was coming, but just couldn't execute enough to win. This wasn't some hidden strategy. It was Islam's bread and butter. The critical question, why didn't Gary adjust sooner?
To essentially grapple heavy, and I mean heavy, in this matchup. He got the single leg on Ian Gary in the first round and pretty much rode that round into the ground with control time. And this is always what we do in these fights, as we come down to this conversation of what matters more to MMA judging, control time or damage. Well, in this case, there was not much of the latter for either guy, but there were instances of it. It was kind of like I said in the beginning of the video, there were moments.
Islam's heavy grappling, specifically that relentless single-leg takedown in round one, didn't just win the round, it became the round. It dictated the entire tactical dance. But here, that's where things get wild for the judges, control time versus actual damage. Honestly, neither guy landed much, so that control became everything.
Of spectacular things happening, but for the totality of the fight, that wasn't necessarily the case. The first round goes Islam Makhachev purely based off of his control time. I think it was something like 3.5 minutes, maybe more, where Ian Gary was doing a good job of defending, right? Like, he was doing a good job of not getting put flat on his back and making Islam work for every position, but Islam was holding Ian on the cage, and they were just level changing up and down, up and down. It was, you know, pretty much exactly what you expected early on. What I thought may happen after that was either Ian Gary was going to get...
And get this, Islam's control in round one was undeniable, 3.5 minutes of dominance. Credit to Gary, he defended well, wasn't flat, and made Islam work. But despite Gary's defensive success, judges still scored all that time as control. This perfectly highlights the core tension in MMA judging, a battle for perception, not just dominance.
Islam throws a right hand that misses, and then a left high kick that slaps across the face of Ian and drops him. This was the biggest moment of the fight. This right here is legitimately the biggest moment of the fight, because now you also, on top of the fact that Islam won the first round with his grappling, he's going to win the second with his striking based off this huge moment where Ian hits the ground. Now, did he stay down there? Was he hurt badly? No, he popped back up to his feet, and Islam did a great...
Then came the moment that changed everything, Islam's left high kick. It dropped Gary in round two, a clear fight-altering strike, unveiling Islam's rarely seen striking prowess. Gary recovered fast, but it didn't matter. Islam was now up 2 rounds, and that single kick shattered the narrative that he's just a grappler.
And Islam did a great job from there with a nice judo throw, took him over, and controlled him on the ground again for the rest of the round. But this was a key moment because now Ian Gary's down 2 rounds. And having been down 2 rounds, this means he needs to step on the gas pedal. This means he needs to be, forget efficiency. We have to be a bit desperate now. Because you lose one more round and the fight's over, you've lost, right? Well, round 3, Ian came out and was more successful. Now, again, this wasn't a barn burner of a round, but he took a little bit more risk. He did throw some of those oblique kicks. He did.
Now listen to this part. Ian Gary's head kick in round 3. Not only did it likely break Islam's nose, but it was a true game changer. Islam suddenly became hesitant, retreating to grappling. Gary surprised everyone, revealing improved takedown defense. This was Gary's best round, stifling Islam's primary attack. Why didn't we see more of that earlier?
Only control half the round and lose the major scoring criteria which is damage, how do you win the round? That one's beyond me, but I thought Ian won the 4th round, making it 2-2 going into the 5th, and one judge did have it that way.
But here's the kicker. Round 4's judging completely exploded. Islam dominated early, yes, but Gary blasted him with significant damage right at the end. So how did 2 of 3 judges hand that round to Islam? Especially when damage is supposed asterisk to outweigh control. This isn't just a misstep, it's a direct contradiction of the rules. Fans were outraged.
Round, and this is where I think Ian Gary will kick himself, because you knew what was coming. If you were Ian Gary, you knew that Islam was going to dive at the legs. You knew he wasn't going to engage in the striking. You knew you were going to have to fight like hell to keep yourself on your feet and then do your damage, and it meant you're going to have to take some risks. Because Dana White said this in the post-fight presser, and I agree with him. Listen, I'm not a fighter. I never claimed to be a fighter. So I can't sit here and understand what it means to go into that 5th round and have the respect for each other developed from the first 4 rounds, and just the fact that it's this moment. And
Ian Gary will despise watching that 5th round back. He knew Islam was gassing, knew he had to take risks. But what did he do? He stayed hesitant. Fighters talk about respect in round 5, but at this level, respect is a trap. Gary's passivity, his inability to pull the trigger, that was his undoing. A lack of urgency played him throughout.
Over 5 rounds is brutal. Ian is not much better at 29. I mean, some of these are god-awful. Look at this, 3-0 in the first round, 11-6, 5-9, 7-3, 7-0, and Islam won the 5th round without throwing it or landing a significant strike. How insane is that? Again, I understand it because of the way the rule set in MMA is set up. Islam controlled Ian for pretty much the majority of this round, but even still, you didn't land a strike. You didn't land a significant strike, and you won the round in a fighting sport. Again, I get it.
The striking stats for both fighters? Woeful. Islam landed just 22 significant strikes. Ian only 29 over 5 rounds. What's even crazier? Islam won round 5 without a single significant strike. This is where the rule book's insane emphasis on control time either makes perfect sense or completely fails. Fans aren't showing up for this.
It was over, and I think, where Dana is right is that Ian needs to have some killer instinct in that moment. I think the same thing could be said for Islam, though. Like, Islam showed no killer instinct.
Dana White hit the nail on the head about Ian needing killer instinct. But here's the thing, that applies just as much to Islam. Remember when he had Gary rocked with that head kick? He didn't follow up with championship ferocity. He just cooled it off. This isn't weakness, it's a winning strategy. Until fighters shut down his grappling, Islam will keep winning.
Danny and Caucus wrestling, you have to stop them. If you want it to end, stop them. That's in any sport, no matter what, whether it's the tush push in the NFL, if you think it's a gimmick, or if it's a manipulation of the rule set.
And this brings us to the GOAT conversation. Islam Makhachev, 29-1 with 7 defenses, is an absolute force building an undeniable case. But stacked against John Jones, 11 defenses, near-perfect record, Islam's single career KO loss casts a shadow. The numbers don't lie. Jones' sustained dominance against higher-caliber opposition is the critical differentiator.
If you think it's a gimmick, or if it's a manipulation of the rule set, stop it. Find a way to stop it, and they'll stop doing it, right? If you find a way to stop them from doing it, then they'll stop, and they'll have to adjust. But that's easier said than done, I understand that, but it is a part of the sport. The people that are going to say, it's boring, yeah, okay, but it is MMA, and grappling is a part of it. I think that the grappling should be a vehicle to continue striking or continue threatening finishes, as Islam said he was going to do in this fight. He was looking for finishes, but like I said, easier said than...
So there you have it. Islam Makhachev secured the win, but this fight exposed deep cracks in UFC judging, raised questions about fan expectations, and reignited the GOAT debate. This wasn't just another title defense. It was a mirror reflecting the evolving, often frustrating landscape of the fight game. What do you think? Is Islam's style a problem for the UFC, or is it up to his opponents to adapt? Let me know in the comments. Smash that like, subscribe for more brutal honesty, and hit the bell for our next deep dive.
Just a part of it, and that is what it is. But a great win for Islam. He breaks Anderson Silva's win streak record. He goes to 17 straight wins in the UFC. What a career. 29-1, 7 championship defenses. He's done it at 2 weight classes. He's creeping up into the GOAT conversation. Now, people are going to start saying he is the GOAT, and I disagree. I still have Jon Jones as the greatest fighter of all time. I have not wavered on that point. When everybody decided to just completely shit on Jon Jones because he ducked Tom Aspinall, which he did. He ducked Tom Aspinall, and you can even argue he ducked Francis. That doesn't take away from what he did inside that octagon. We're talking about a guy, and again, we'll do a full video on this if you guys really want.